Let's look at reporting category 3 and go over a few of these problems. Let's look at number 5. The graph of a linear function is shown on the grid. Which equation best is represented by this graph? So let's look at our answer choices first. These answer choices are written in a different form than we're used to. But what we can do is we can look at this and also look at these answer choices in a graph. So if you look at this, it's not written as y equals, but I could easily write it as y equals. Are you paying attention? By just moving this plus 2 to the other side and not doing any simplification or anything like that. So I'm going to subtract 2 on both sides. And so what I'm going to put in the calculator is 7 over 5, parentheses x plus 7, parentheses minus 2. When I do that, I can see what the graph looks like. So go to y equals. Everybody get a calculator. And we are going to put in answer choice A and see if that is the correct answer choice. So let's do 7 over 5, parentheses, x plus 7 minus 2. Hit graph. Does that look right?
No.
What's wrong with it? It's too high up. The y-intercept is wrong. What should the y-intercept be? Negative 3. And what should the x-intercept be? 4. Not it. Now let's go to the next one. How do I get this to say y equals? Add 2, yeah. So I could do the same thing. The only thing that's changing is this is a minus 7 and this is a plus 2. Now hit graph. Is that right? It's supposed to be, remember, at 3 for the y-intercept and 4 for the x-intercept. So nope. Okay, let's go and do the next one. What do I need to do to get this to say y equals? Subtract 2. So now my, what is that called? The coefficient out there is now 5 over 7. So change that, and then it's a plus 2, or plus 7 minus 2. And you can clear it out and retype it in, or you can just go in and fix those few changes. Just double check your work. Graph it. Is that right?
No.
Nope. So we have one more. I hope this one's right, or we did something wrong. Okay, what do we need to do to get this to say y equals?
Add 2.
Add 2. So now it's y equals 5 over 7, parentheses x minus 7 plus 2. Make sure you're using the minus and the plus and not the negative, because I don't see any negatives here. I see a minus. Okay, now hit graph. All right, what about this one? Yep, that's it. So this one didn't have much work. I'm requiring you to show some kind of work. This is work, but then we use the calculator, right? So put answers in y equals and look for the matching graph. That is your explanation of how you got your answer. So on a lot of these, you can use the calculator. You can use the y equals to put in equations, look at the table, or put in y equals and look at the graph. Let's look at number 7's the same way, but instead of looking at the graph, you'll look at the table. You can still put this into y equals though, by moving the number that's beside the y to the other side. So I'm not going to do that. I want you to practice that later. We're going to move on to 8. Which equation can be represented by the graph shown below? Let's look at our answer choices. They're all written in a different form. That's not y equals. But we do have a graph. So there's 2 ways of doing this. Solve each one for y and then go to the graph. Or find the equation of the line and then see which one equals that. You can pick either one. I think I'll just go ahead and solve each one for y. So rewrite the equation. That's a plus. I tried to put equals. I don't know why I did that. Okay, so move things around. So we will subtract the 16 on both sides. So negative 3x plus 8y equals negative 16. And we still need to get this 3x to the other side, so plus 3x. Eight y equals, remember we wanted an mx plus b form, so this would be 3x minus 16. And then our last step to get y by itself would be divided by 8. So y equals 3 over 8x. Negative 16 divided by 8. Negative 2. Remember what we know about linear equations? This number that doesn't have the x, it's called our y-intercept. Is negative 2 a y-intercept here? No. We could put it into y equals to double check ourselves. But you can also look and see this is a negative and it's supposed to be positive. So f is out. Now you'll do g. 3x minus 8y plus 16 equals 0. Do the same thing. So subtract 16. 3x minus 8y equals negative 16. Minus 3x minus 3x. Negative 8y equals negative 3x minus 16. Then divide by negative 8 all the way through. You get y equals negative over negative. I'm going to make it positive 3 over 8x. Negative over negative again, negative 16 over negative 8 makes it positive 2. Is our y-intercept right? Positive 2? Does it cross the y-axis? Yes. But then what about the slope? What kind of slope is this?
It's a negative.
Yeah, what kind of slope is this?
Negative.
Negative slope. And b equals 2. So those are 2 things we can recognize and check fairly quickly. So we know that g is also out because of this. This is positive and it's supposed to be negative. Okay, let's do H. They're all the same. What's changing is the positives and negatives. So plus 16. Negative 3x minus 8y equals 16. Plus 3x. Negative 8y equals 3x plus 16. Divide by a negative 8. So y equals negative 3 over 8x. Because there's only one negative, so it comes out front. This one only has one negative, so that's a negative 2. So what's wrong with this one now?
It's got a negative 2.
Negative 2. I know, this one takes a lot of work. But stick with it. And even when problems are hard like this, requires a lot of work, stick with it. And let's do J. Surely J is our answer, but let's double check. So we do plus 16. So we have 3x plus 8y equals 16. Minus 3x. 8y equals negative 3x plus 16. And divide by 8 all the way through. So y equals negative 3 over 8x, and then 16 over 8, they're both positive, so our answer is positive, so plus 2. Okay, so does that match now? Negative slope and a positive 2 y-intercept? It does, so J is our answer. We could also check it in the calculator. But if you have already gone through every single one of them, you know this is a negative slope. Y-intercept is at 2. That's really all you need to do. Okay. Do y'all have any other questions y'all want me to go over? If you've worked on it, if you haven't worked on it, you need to work on it over the weekend. Get it done, and then Monday y'all can ask me a couple of questions before you turn it in. But are there any other that you want me to go over now? Okay. So since there are no more questions, we're going to move on.